The streets of Rome gleam in the morning sun. Senators hurry through the marble halls of the Curia, carrying the weight of the Republic on their shoulders. Julius Caesar strides through the portico, his toga flowing, unaware that this day will be his last. His mind drifts over plans for the next conquest, reforms for the city, the whispers of power echoing in his ears. Outside, the city hums with a fragile peace, but inside these walls, something far darker waits. The doors swing shut behind him. Senators murmur in uneasy tones. Some glance nervously at one another, while others hide their anticipation behind stone-faced restraint. Brutus, the man Caesar had called son, steps forward. His hands are steady, but his heart pounds beneath the linen folds of his tunic. In the shadows, Cassius watches. Years of resentment and political ambition have sharpened his resolve. He reminds himself that the Republic must survive. Caesar walks to his designated spot, greeted by familiar faces who once shared laughter and counsel. No one says a word of warning. The tension builds silently, like the tightening of a bowstring. Suddenly a dagger flashes. Pain explodes in Caesar's side. Shock crosses his face. His eyes search the crowd. Betrayal reflected in familiar faces. Another dagger strikes. Then another. 1, 2, 3. The motion is swift, relentless, precise. 23 blades pierce the man who had been Rome's unchallenged master. The Senate erupts into chaos. Blood stains the marble. Caesar collapses, his toga drenched in crimson. The names of his assailants echo in his mind. Brutus, Cassius. Treachery cuts deeper than any sword. He turns, seeking the face of a friend. The eyes that once reflected loyalty now glint with ambition. As he falls, he whispers, a phrase carried through history. Et tu, Brute? The city holds its breath. Outside the Curia, Rome does not yet know. The streets remain unaware that the heart of the Republic has been ripped from its chest. Markets bustle, citizens laugh, and soldiers patrol, oblivious to the earthquake that just shook the city's foundations. Yet in these halls, the scent of betrayal lingers, thick and suffocating. Power is suddenly up for grabs, and the air hums with dangerous possibility. Cassius steps back, surveying the carnage. Brutus wipes blood from his dagger. They have succeeded. The tyrant is dead. Yet in that victory lies the seed of chaos. The Republic is not safe. The people revere Caesar, adore him even. He was a hero of wars, a master of strategy, a man who transformed Rome's destiny. And now they will want answers. Let's float over to another royal disaster. In the days following the assassination, Rome teeters on the edge. Citizens gather in whispers, rumors spreading faster than the Tiber's current. Some mourn, leaving garlands at the forum. Others whisper of revenge. Mark Antony, loyal to Caesar and a skilled orator, watches from the shadows. He knows the city's heart can be turned against the conspirators. A funeral will come, and with it, a spark that no blade can cut out. Meanwhile, Brutus and Cassius attempt to frame their act as salvation. They write proclamations, speak in public squares, claiming Caesar's death restores freedom. But fear lurks beneath their words. Senators who did not join the plot tremble. Soldiers shift uneasily in their camps. The legions loyal to Caesar will not obey traitors lightly. Rome has seen dictators fall before, but never one so adored, never one struck from within his closest circle. Whispers of civil war begin to circulate. Allies of Caesar gather in secret. Antony forms a plan, subtle yet deadly. He waits for the perfect moment to turn public mourning into a roar of fury. Meanwhile, Brutus and Cassius underestimate the depth of Caesar's popularity. They have killed a man, but not his legend. The people's grief will fuel a fire too fierce to tame. And yet, even as Rome tilts toward chaos, the Senate believes it has control. Each conspirator dreams of glory and freedom, but none foresee the shadow of retribution closing in. The streets will soon run with cries, not just of anger, but of a city awakening to betrayal on a scale it has never seen. Brutus's vision of liberty hangs by a thread, fragile and perilous. Every step they take now risks igniting a storm they cannot contain. The city waits, Rome waits. And in the shadowed corners of power, ambition sharpens its knives. Allies who once plotted together now glance suspiciously at each other. Trust has fractured. Loyalty has become a dangerous illusion. One misstep will tip the delicate balance into full-blown civil war. The funeral pyre waits in the forum. Citizens gather in sorrow, their voices low and trembling. Antony steps forward, his toga immaculate, face calm but eyes burning with purpose. He lifts Caesar's bloodied cloak for all to see. Silence falls over the crowd. Every heart feels the weight of betrayal. Antony speaks slowly, carefully. He does not accuse at first. He recounts Caesar's deeds, his victories, the reforms that touched every citizen's life. The crowd leans in. Every word is a spark in tinder. Brutus watches from the shadows, thinking he has controlled the narrative. The conspirators believe they can appeal to reason, that Rome will embrace liberty over grief. But Antony has mastered emotion. He gestures to the wounds, to the hands that struck Caesar down. The crowd gasps, murmurs rippling like a wave across the forum. He pauses, letting the tension build, then speaks of loyalty and betrayal, of friends who became murderers. Tears mingle with anger, confusion twisting into fury. The mob erupts. Stone and marble become a backdrop for chaos. Citizens overturn benches, senators flee for safety. Brutus and Cassius retreat to their homes, their calm facade cracking. Antony has turned grief into weapon. His words slice deeper than any dagger ever could. Fires ignite in the city's heart. Rome is no longer a city of order. It is a city of vengeance, trembling on the brink of collapse. Meanwhile, the legions hear of Caesar's death. Soldiers who once fought under his banners cannot reconcile their loyalty with the Senate's proclamation of salvation. Mutiny brews quietly, a storm gathering in distant camps. Antony begins to rally these forces, speaking of honor and betrayal, calling for justice for a leader who reshaped the world. Letters fly along the roads, orders reach the provinces. Rome is about to erupt into civil war, and no one can stop it. Brutus and Cassius flee the city under the cover of night. Their strategy falters as panic spreads. Allies they trusted vanish into the shadows, unwilling to choose a side too early. The republic they hope to save is crumbling, slipping from their grasp faster than they can act. The streets pulse with unrest, every corner hiding the potential for a fight. Every citizen's heart alight with fear and curiosity. Mark Antony, meanwhile, consolidates power with surprising speed. He appeals to the Senate with polite deference, masking the storm brewing behind his calm demeanor. In private, he forms alliances with loyalists, securing legions and supplies. Caesar's name becomes a rallying cry, transforming the city's grief into strategic advantage. Brutus and Cassius, in contrast, misjudge the loyalty of both the people and the soldiers. Their idealism blinds them to the practical realities of Rome's politics. The first battles of the Civil War erupt outside the city. Provinces split their allegiance. Legions march under banners marked by loyalty or by fear. The air smells of dust and iron, the Tiber swollen with rumors of war. Brutus commands troops with caution, seeking to preserve the Republic's image while still wielding force. Antony strikes with ferocity, each victory echoing Caesar's own brilliance on the battlefield. The conspirators begin to realize that murder has consequences beyond imagination. Letters arrive from foreign allies and vassal states, pledging troops and resources. Rome's enemies watch eagerly, sensing weakness. Each assassination that promised stability has instead invited chaos, turning the Republic into a tinderbox. The very senators who sought freedom now cling to survival, their speeches empty against the roaring demand for vengeance. In Rome, the streets remain volatile. Citizens who once whispered in fear now shout openly for justice. Temples echo with prayers, marketplaces with angry cries. Every encounter could ignite violence. Brutus and Cassius attempt diplomacy, trying to hold the Senate together while controlling the provinces, but fear and mistrust make negotiation nearly impossible. Antony's propaganda continues, painting Caesar as a martyr and the conspirators as villains. Rome is divided not just by geography, but by emotion, loyalty, and memory. Battles grow larger, more brutal. The legions of Caesar's loyalists clash with those of the Senate. Campfires become signals, armies march through valleys, and cities brace for sieges. Antony's skill with rhetoric turns every skirmish into propaganda. Every fallen soldier fuels more recruits for his cause. Brutus and Cassius start to question themselves. The republic they believed in cannot survive in the world they have created. And yet, despite the turmoil, Brutus holds one hope. He dreams that Rome will forgive him if he acts honorably, if he proves that Caesar's death was necessary for liberty. But Antony is patient and cunning. Each move by Brutus is anticipated, each decision exploited. Rome becomes a chessboard with lives as pieces. Civil war spreads like wildfire, unstoppable, reshaping alliances, loyalty, and the fate of the Republic forever. The horizon darkens with the march of armies, banners fluttering like ominous clouds. Brutus and Cassius prepare for the confrontation that will decide everything. One battle looms that will either secure their vision of Rome or bury them in history's shadows. The city waits for the clash, the legions ready to decide who will inherit Caesar's legacy and who will fade into obscurity. The armies face each other across a dusty plain. Sunlight glints off steel and bronze. Soldiers grip their weapons tightly, hearts pounding. Brutus surveys the horizon, weighing every strategy. Cassius whispers doubts, warning that Antony has learned too quickly. The wind carries tension, rattling banners, tossing dust into the faces of men who have trained their lives for this moment. History is about to decide their fates. Antony moves calmly through his ranks. His soldiers trust him, inspired by loyalty to Caesar and by fear of the consequences if they fail. Every step, every glance radiates purpose. He knows that morale can win battles as surely as swords. Brutus strikes first, ordering a cautious advance. The legions clash with thunderous force, shields shattering, spears piercing armor. The air is thick with dust, sweat, and anticipation. Brutus fights with precision, directing his men with disciplined strategy. But Antony is relentless. He maneuvers his forces with subtle cunning, exploiting weaknesses the conspirators did not know existed. Flanks are turned, reinforcements arrive at critical moments, and the chaos of combat begins to favor Antony. The Republic's defenders, once confident, falter under the pressure. Cassius sees the tide turning. Panic flashes in his eyes as he realizes that Caesar's death has not freed Rome but doomed their cause. Orders are shouted, horses neigh, soldiers clash. Antony's brilliance on the battlefield mirrors the genius that once led Caesar to victory. Brutus holds his ground, but each passing hour erodes their strength. Soldiers desert, alliances shift, and the dream of liberty wavers under the weight of reality. Meanwhile, news of the fighting reaches Rome itself. Citizens cling to rooftops and forum walls, watching smoke rise in the distance. The city braces for the aftermath of the battle. Temples echo with prayers for victory and survival, marketplaces are abandoned, and whispers of betrayal are replaced by whispers of fate. Antony's name spreads like fire, and with it the legend of Caesar grows larger. The turning point comes when Antony executes a decisive flanking maneuver. The conspirators' forces are split. Brutus fights bravely, but realizes the outcome is slipping beyond his control. Cassius, desperate, contemplates his options. Retreat is impossible without risking annihilation. Victory seems a memory, fleeting and unattainable. The dream of restoring the Republic dies under the weight of ambition, grief, and the ruthless logic of war. Brutus retreats to a hilltop, surveying the battlefield. Smoke rises from campfires and broken wagons. His soldiers lie wounded or scattered. Antony approaches, victorious yet measured. He does not gloat. Instead, he solidifies control, ensuring the surviving legions swear allegiance to Caesar's memory, binding the people to his cause. Brutus realizes that words and ideals cannot compete with loyalty forged in blood and fire. Cassius succumbs to despair, choosing death over dishonor. Brutus follows soon after, a tragic figure in a story too large for one man. Antony stands amid the aftermath, master of the city, the armies, and the legacy of the man whose death unleashed the storm. The Republic is gone. In its place, a new order rises, built upon loyalty, vengeance, and the memory of a tyrant turned martyr. Rome will never be the same. The consequences ripple far beyond the battlefield. Provinces pledge allegiance to Antony, rivals vanish or submit, and the memory of Caesar becomes a tool of power. Statues are raised, coins minted, and stories told in whispers in public squares alike. The betrayal of 23 blades becomes legend, a cautionary tale of ambition, friendship, and the fragility of human loyalty. And yet the question lingers over the ruins of the Republic. Could Brutus have acted differently? Could loyalty have survived ambition? Antony's rise shows the cost of betrayal, the price of underestimating the people, and the way history can pivot on a single day, a single act of treachery. Rome, once a beacon of citizen power, becomes a stage for emperors, generals, and storytellers forever shaped by one fateful Ides of March. The story of Julius Caesar's last day is not just about murder. It is about the fragility of trust, the power of charisma, and the unexpected ways history unfolds. Every citizen, soldier, and senator became part of a narrative that continues to fascinate the world thousands of years later. The Republic's end is not a sudden collapse, but a series of choices, betrayals, and cunning maneuvers that led to empire. Don't forget to subscribe to Epic Historical Sagas for more shocking tales from the past. What do you think drove Brutus to betray Caesar? Was it loyalty to Rome or ambition disguised as virtue? Let us know in the comments.